All right, Nick, let's talk about the Detroit Lions. The draft is just around the corner. It's time to start taking a deep look into who people are bringing in, who they're not bringing in, and what teams are really trying to target in the draft. And we have a story today about a prospect the Lions have kind of been eyeing for a little while here and looks like a very interesting get if things fall their way.
Yeah, Minus, interesting report you found about a guy the Lions are really focusing on. But like you alluded to, the draft is right around the corner. All the conversation seems to be dominated about quarterbacks, who's taking who in the draft. And of course, that leads us into our question today for Detroit Lion fans. Look, obviously, this organization has had some up and down success at the starting quarterback position. But I want to throw you a curveball today. Give me your favorite backup quarterback in Detroit Lions history. Really interesting question. Really curious what you guys have to say. And make sure you stick around to the end of today's video to hear a word from the partner of today's video, Neuro. But all right, Miles, what you got? What's going on in Detroit?
Yeah, Nick. So when we look at Detroit's roster, that really gives us a breakdown of where they might decide to go in this draft. Obviously, stellar offensive line, good receiving options, a serviceable quarterback in Jared Goff. And then on the defensive side of the ball, they have a heavily upgraded secondary, 2 linebackers that they really like. So that just leaves one other option, and that's none other than the defensive line. Nick, maybe upgrade that pass rush a little bit, give Aiden Hutchinson another pairing to make it an elite level pass rush, really set this team over the top. And I think that fits with none other than Texas Tech pass rusher Tyree Wilson. Nick, he looks like a very interesting prospect for Detroit, and we're not the only ones that think that, Nick. According to ESPN's Matt Miller, the Lions may be zeroing in on a defender with the 6th overall pick. Per Miller, the Lions are infatuated with Texas Tech edge defender Tyree Wilson. I've heard they really like Tyree Wilson from Texas Tech and have a high grade on him. Miller wrote this week, the Lions spent considerable time and resources meeting with and working out pass rushers this offseason, and they will be seeking more help on defense right out of the gate in round 1. Nick, what do you think about this update for the Lions? What do you think about Miller's comments on Wilson?
So I think the interesting about Wilson is he's sort of the opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. Aiden Hutchinson was the obviously extremely productive freak and coming out of Michigan, put up all kinds of numbers, big time performer, both against the run as a pass rusher, team captain, all that kind of stuff. You look at Wilson, he's kind of the opposite. Had to transfer a little bit, move around in college, was productive, was an all-conference player, but was not near the level as guys at Aiden Hutchinson. But he absolutely, talking about Wilson here, checks every single box athletically. He's big, strong, fast, quick. He just looks like the prototypical dominant elite edge pass rusher. And what the Lions reportedly focusing on a prospect like Wilson, to me tells me that the Lions are taking that next step. Because we always talk about when you're in rebuilding mode as a team, you can't miss on draft guys. So you always sometimes go when it comes to early round guys. You can't go with the guys with the high ceiling that are also very risky. You have to go with the guys that are safer picks. Aiden Hutchinson was a safer pick. It's obviously worked out very well. I think he's exceeded some expectations. But in terms of other prospects, he is the safer kind of pick. Wilson is kind of the opposite. He's a high upside guy. He's a guy that can come in and be a potential Von Miller-esque elite level pass rusher. He can also be not as good as you know some other top 10 guys. He can fall by the wayside too, just when you look at his production on tape. So to me, all in all, this says that the Lions are taking that next step, like we've talked about all offseason. They no longer have to rely on just the safe guys. They can now go after the high ceiling, high reward guys. And I think Wilson has the potential to be just that. All right, Miles, we would like to give a special thanks to our partner today's video, Neuro.
That's right, Nick. And I want you to go with me on a journey really fast. I want you to imagine this. It's 4th and goal in the big game, Nick. Your team is relying on you to make the big-time game-winning play. I know you've been in this situation before, Nick. The stadium is roaring. The clock is ticking. The game is on the line. But if only in that moment you were able to have some Neuro Gum. Neuro Gum will help you stay concentrated, and it gives you a burst of energy without a nasty crash.
That's right, Miles. Neuro has thoughtfully curated ingredients and does endless lab testing, which means that you can reach the right state of mind safely and consistently. That's the most important part. It gives you a clean burst of energy and focus without the jitters of coffee or any of those other energy drinks.
That's right, Nick. And if you click our sponsor link in the description below, you can enjoy energy, calm, and focus whenever you need it.